Okay. Good morning, everybody. Hope this day finds all of you doing well. It is a Tuesday morning, believe it or not. Doesn't seem to be too as cold outside today as it was the last few days, but it's a little chilly, but nothing that you cannot get over. Good morning to you. I'm Kevin Elkins, and this is Decisions. Why do we call it that? Well, because everything we do requires us to make a decision. And even when we decide not to make a decision, well, we just made a decision, you see? So there's no you can't get beyond it. It's it lives with us every day. Every day our lives is a combination of all types of decisions that we make. So today I bid you a good decision making day. Right now, as we rise and shine in the state of Alabama, at least in the city of Montgomery anyway, it is 32 degrees outside. Believe it or not, the high today is going to be 67 degrees. So a heat wave is upon us, but don't celebrate it too much because you know how these things work in Alabama, right? You know, one minute is hot, next minute is almost hot, then the next minute is freezing. I don't know what. So just take it one day at a time. As a matter of fact, right now, again, it's 32 degrees outside, and it feels like 32. The winds are not really moving that much today, but that's where it goes. Sunshine and clouds mixed, high around 67 degrees this morning, wind southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. On tonight, a low of 52, heat wave, 93% chance of precipitation, rain likely, low around 52, wind southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour, chance of rain, 90% tonight. On tomorrow, another chance of rain, like 71% chance of rains. Showers in the mornings, then cloudy in the afternoon, high around 54. Winds west, northwest at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Does anybody really ever put their hand in the sky and figure out which way the wind's coming from? Yeah, I never do. I never like check that out. I never really. I mean, all I need to know is that the wind is coming one way or the other, and I'm good to go. I never really worry about which direction the wind is coming. How about you? Yeah, I didn't think so either. But the weatherman seemed to have a tendency. Now, if I'm on a boat, it may be important to know which way the wind is coming. But walking on dry land, nah, just let me feel it, baby. Let me feel it. Anyway, good morning. It's time to rise and shine.
We change the world in history right here where we're from. It's new beginning to you and me, cause we're not done. In our city, in our city, in our city, we're not done. I appreciate that.
Time to rise and shine. Okay. Now keep being a Facebook for my little song that me and AI made. Say, oh, y'all can't figure this out. How am I supposed to figure that? Right? Just saying. My own little song that I made up. You know, I just made it myself. Me and I did it one day, and I had anything to do, so I wrote up my own song. Come on, man. They keep digging me all the time. Meta won't play this. Anyway, good morning to you. It's time to rise and shine. One more day above ground, and the ground's not above you. Good morning. Next up, it is our daily bread. Of course, it's a word from on high to start your day. You can't ever have too many words from on high, believe me or not. I know. Sometimes I don't know how the good Lord puts up with me, but He does. Allows me to put up with some of y'all. Anyway, good morning. The clock on the wall says it's 7:13. If you got to be there by 7 o'clock, a little late. But hey, if you got to be there by 7:30, you got plenty of time by which to arrive. Okay? Next up, it is our daily bread, brought to you by, of course, which was brought to you by One Stop Wireless. Okay? But we'll be back right on the corner of 3445 Atlanta Highway, it's right on the corner of Atlanta Highway and Coliseum Boulevard, right next to the gas station right there. One Stop Wireless. Great folks out there. You need a cell phone. You need something to, you're tired of trying to keep up with cell phones and it looks like the price is going up every time you do. Well, go down and see those guys right there. Okay, One Stop Wireless, right up 3445 Atlanta Highway. You can't beat them. Great people. I've been with them for 10, 15 years now. Even took the phone all the way to Indiana with me in 2020. And it worked good. It worked really good. It worked fine. I didn't have a problem whatsoever. Even going down some of the mountains of Paducah, Kentucky. A big truck tried to scare me off the road. Yeah, but I wouldn't move. Okay, I did move, but, only after I intimidated him. Anyway, good morning to you. It's time to rise and shine. And we shall return back in a minute after our daily bread. And, of course, our daily bread. And then we will get a chance to listen to our young folks at the McMillan International Academy out there who bring you every morning the salute to the armed forces. They did it on Veterans Day, and I thought it was such a great thing that we thought we'd pay it every day. My granddaughter's in there, Scarlett. Hey, if you listen real close, you can hear her singing the song. So, hang loose. We'll be back.
Jesus poured his love into us that we may pour it into others. Welcome to today's encouragement from Our Daily Bread. Today's reading, titled God-Sized Love, was written by Sheridan Voisey. I once visited an impoverished neighborhood of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Homes were made of corrugated iron with electrical wires dangling live above them. There, I had the privilege of interviewing families and hearing how churches were helping to combat unemployment, drug use, and crime. In one alleyway, I climbed a rickety ladder to a small room to interview a mother and her son. But just a moment later, someone rushed up saying, "We must leave now." A machete-wielding gang leader was apparently gathering a mob to ambush us. We visited a second neighborhood, but there we had no problem. Later, I discovered why. As I visited each home, a gang leader stood outside guarding us. It turned out his daughter was being fed and educated by the church, and because believers were standing by her, he stood by us. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus presents a standard of love that's beyond comparison. This kind of love embraces not just the worthy, but the undeserving, reaching beyond family and friends to touch those who can't or won't love us back. This is God-sized love, the kind that blesses everyone. As believers in Santo Domingo live out this love, Neighborhoods are starting to change. Tough hearts are warming to their cause. That's what happens when God-sized love comes to town. Today's Our Daily Bread devotional scripture reading is from Matthew chapter 5, verses 43 through 48. You have heard that it was said, "Love your neighbor and hate your enemy." But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of your Father in heaven. He causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? And if you greet only your own people, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that? Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. Let's pray together. Jesus, you have poured out your love into us so that we may pour it out into others, even to those who don't deserve it or don't even believe in you. Please make us true messengers of your love and salvation, so that a hurting and dying world can experience the true life that is only found in you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Today's encouragement was provided by Our Daily Bread Ministries.
Montgomery's own. That's right. Singing this song from McMillan International Academy. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guard, and Space Force. Freedom is not free. Somebody pay for it. All give some. Some gave all. Hey, there are some people who have joined the Marines. Okay? Not very many. There have been some. Especially the rest with the uniform. And I would have been a Marine. But I'll tell you the story, but I'll tell you. All righty then. We got enough. We love y'all, but not that much. Okay, anyway. Does anybody want to hear the story of me in the Marine Corps? I mean, I need to tell this at least once a year. And this year just began, so I know I haven't told it so far. Well, there it was back in 1975. There I was. I was out there. I was at a crossroads in my life. Okay, I was at a crossroads in my life in 1975. I had been caught still in the 10 speed, and I had a choice. While the man took my arms and put them behind my back, I had a decision to make at that particular moment. It said, "Mr. E." I was like 18, so I guess they start calling you Mister at 18, which means that you're probably going to jail. Okay. They didn't say Kevin. They didn't say DeVale. They said Mr. E. I mean, some when anytime they call you Mister and they're older than you ready to go someplace. Okay, you know that you know it's coming. You don't know exactly what's coming, but you know something's coming. Okay, so as I sat there between and betwixt, that's right, between and betwixt, I was facing, I was facing a life changing moment. One decision, I could say I didn't do it, even though I had it, I was sitting on it, and I could have went to jail. On the other hand, I was going by the I was going down the road, and I saw a place that said join the military. That's been a long time ago, but I still remember it. And so I had a choice: go to jail. Now this was after I was in court with the judge. I'm in the court with the judge because I was betwixt some massive decisions in life. So they got me in the courtroom there, and so my time came to talk to the judge, and the judge was a was a Frago kind of guy, old guy, and which wasn't that big a deal, but I knew it was a white guy. So I knew that no matter what happened that morning, I was fitting to feel the full weight of the law because I had did a couple other things, before then, not very bad stuff, but I had this insatiable thing about having 10 speed. I didn't want to walk. I wanted to ride. So I figured since I didn't have one, I'll just take one of theirs. I mean, they looked like they had like six of them on the porch. I mean, I know I almost became a Democrat because I said, "Hey, they got six. I only need one. Where's the harm?" I know. I was thinking kind of. I mean, when you're 18, 17, 18 years old, you're probably thinking a little bit wrong. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but there I was in the courtroom with the judge, and back there in the back of the room was some folks in uniform. So the judge looked at me. He looked at them. He looked at them, and he looked at me. And so there I was, 17, almost 18 years old in a couple of weeks. What was my decision going to be? And then I saw this big giant of a man coming into the courtroom because he was getting to be judged too. And I got to thinking, what if they put me back there with him? Now, how am I at 5 foot, 5 foot nothing, 5 foot five? How was I supposed to beat him off of me? Okay, because I heard things about jail. I really never knew, but I heard things about jail, and so I kept looking at those guys in the back room with the uniforms on, and they look good. Them uniforms look good, and the more I think about it, the better they looked. so, so I so I asked the judge, said, "Your Honor, with all due respect, can you let me go with those guys?" Okay, that'll straighten me up a little bit. So he called them up to the call them up to the whatever that place they call in the courtroom that everybody has to go and talk to the judge. So they called him up to the room and they said, "What about this one?" Now me, of course, I mean, I promised the whole wide world. I mean, not to go to jail with Big Bubba because Big Bubba was big. I mean, he had to be like 6'6", muscles in his legs, his ankles, and everywhere. So I knew that if I had to go back there with him and he wasn't in a great mood, I knew that my butt was grass and he was a lawnmower. Okay, so being that as it may, the recruiters came up and they said, Your Honor, we don't know if he has what it takes. And at that particular time, I didn't know if I had what it take either. But I knew one thing: I didn't want to take what the other guy had. So hey, I was willing to take a shot at it. Anything except be Big Bubba's girlfriend back there because I heard about those things. Not that I knew anything about it, but I heard about those things. And I'm gonna get to some serious stuff here in a minute, but I just got to tell you this story. So the Marine guy came up to me and said, "Would you like to try the Marines?" I said, "Absolutely." And the more I saw this big guy, I know, I know I would, but the more I began to look at that guy, the better the Marine Corps looked. So I said, okay. So I went down there and then I went into the room and they had these nice little wings on the uniform, little golden wings. I said, well, how do I get a set of those? And the guy says, well, you can't get one. I said, how come? I was willing to do whatever it took to get it. At least I thought I was anyway. I was willing to take a shot at it, trying to get them right. I was going to do that. Well, what happened is that is that correct grammar, Doctor Joe? What happened is that a good grammar? I mean, it sounds kind of weird to say what happened was. I don't know. I don't know. I had to go back to English class and know whether or not that's a proper noun or precipitation or predicate or whatever verb, whatever it was. I had to see this is what happened was. So I go in there and the guy says, well, you can't get a set of those wings. I mean, they're on the guy's uniform, which means he earned them some kind of way. Okay, I want a set of those. Okay, I want a set of those. And then it happened. The thing that would change my life, besides still in the 10 speed, um, more than anything I've ever done. He said, Elk Dog. That was my name back then. My name back then was Kevin, soon to be Jailbird. See that? See, there's what's his name right there. He always thinks I'm making this up, but I didn't make it up. No. So I said, I want a set of those wings. He said I was too short to get them. Too short now. Now I heard a lot of things, but he said too short to get the wings. Okay. So I said, well, I guess that's the way it is, So I had to go down the hall, and I went to the Army recruiter guy, and they had some wings too, but they didn't quite look as good as the Marine Corps wings. The Marine Corps got this nice little golden things. I mean, they really look good. They kind of look like Air Force, flyer wings, whatever the case may be. But anyway, moving right along. So there I was between and betwixt. So I went down to the Army recruiting guy because I still had a choice: either go to jail or go to reform school or whatever the case may be, or join the military. Well, those airborne troopers down at the Army base, down at the Army room, the picture of them, well, they had a set of wings on too. Now, I didn't really think those wings looked as good as the the Marine Corps wings. They were just looking good. However, my first act of height discrimination. There I was, lost in a mire of confusion. I wanted to wear that Marine Corps uniform, but I wanted a set of those wings to go on them. That's right. That's right. I just wanted me a set of those wings. But it wasn't to be. It was not to be. Now, I could have joined the Corps, but I couldn't had an opportunity to join to get the wings because I was like 5'5" or something like that. And evidently you had to be 5'9" or something like that. You need therapy. Well, I'm gonna tell you about the guests in a minute. I called a couple people yesterday, but they've yet to acknowledge and come on. Uh, but anyway, now Willie, you know I'm telling the truth because I still have nightmares about not getting that uniform. Okay, because I really wanted that. But the one thing I wanted more than the uniform is the wings. Because see, those wings set real men apart from wannabe men. See, anybody can join the Corps, anybody can join the Army, but it takes a special breed of mankind to stand in the door of an aircraft. I don't know how fast airplanes go. I know we was moving though. We was standing. We was in the air, so I don't know how we did it. Okay. See and see now Donald here now Donald is a man who do not believe me because Donald wanted a set of wings too, and he never got one. Now fortunately, I did get a set. You know, as a matter of fact, if you look above my head here, you'll see my set of my wings right there. Okay, well those ain't the real ones, but I got the real ones. You know, on a wall someplace. Okay, now so I'm just telling you. So I went down to the army place, right? I went down to the army place because there's just something about a set of airborne wings on a uniform to make you stand out amongst men. So I went down there and then I saw the airborne rangers. I said, okay. I love that beret. I love that beret. I mean, that beret just stood out amongst men. And of course, then some idiot in the army, Shelley Casvila, gave everybody a beret. Now, wearing that beret back in the day, and again, I don't what people say, Donald. I don't really care. You know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know because you don't know it. So anyway, now Donald, ladies and gentlemen, is jealous. But here's what really got me: out of all the things that happened, out of all the things that happened, I get to airborne school, right? At Fort Benning, Georgia. Now, I didn't realize Fort Benning, Georgia, where it was. All I know was they put me on a bus or an airplane, whatever they put me on, and they got me down to Fort Benning. Now, had I known that Fort Benning was this close to Montgomery, Alabama, uh, I probably would have came up here and visited at least once, the place of Martin Luther King and all that stuff. But I didn't know. So all I knew was um, I had to be down there and I couldn't go any place. So then this place called Phoenix City, and I heard all kind of stories about Phoenix City. Okay, ask Willie Durham if he thinks you ever jumped. Well, of course, now Willie's not going to answer questions that are absolutely stupid. Okay, I mean, listen, a man can tell a lie for a long time. You can tell a lie for a long time. But how long have I been in Montgomery, Alabama? 35 years. Now, do you really think I could remember all of this stuff if this was a lie for 35 years? Come on, Donald. But I understand. You're an Air Force guy, and I understand. I mean, the Air Force, every time I jumped, a bunch of times, and the Air Force helped me. 'Cause they put me on a C-130 or C-123 or C-5A or whatever U whatever what a U was Army thing. They put me on, and I've jumped out of C-5As, a C-123, a C-130, a Chinook, and a C-5A. So I've jumped out of many different vehicles and a Huey. So I've had my fair much fun. But anyway, let me get back to my main point here. The main point here, I get to Fort Benning, Georgia, and do you know who's down at Fort Benning, Georgia, being taught how to be airborne by short Army sergeants? Now, do you know who was down there? That's right, your local jarhead. The local jarhead. Okay, the local jarhead was down there. That's right. and I said to myself, well, how come I can't join the Marines? The Marines can come down here to the Army base to Fort Benning and learn how to be airborne. But it was not to be. I had already signed the papers. going to the 2nd 75th Ranger Battalion. So, well, that was the small story. That was the short story. But at the end of that, it's all history. And Donald Lowry is just absolutely jealous. I would call it the P envy word, but I won't do that. I think it's the wing envy word. See, he really wants a set, but it's too late. It's too late. You know, you're 70 years old now. You can't almost like me. Well, you're older than I am. So you can't undo what you did in the past. But moving right along, I'll give you part two one of these other days. I know you're tired of hearing it, but I got to give this story at least once a year. So, and Donald thinks I'm the biggest liar that ever landed on God's green earth. Okay, and but that's okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, and what Donald doesn't understand all these years, it doesn't make any difference what I did or what I didn't do. Nobody cares. nobody, no, nobody cares. So I ain't mad at you, Donald. I understand. Listen, you're jealous. I feel you on that. There are a lot of folks that are jealous of a brother, and to be quite frankly with you, there are some things I get jealous about some people, especially the guys in the unit who had all these other badges and all that stuff. And that's right. This is a Black History moment. Yes, it was because you know why it's a Black History moment? Because when I got to Fort Lewis, that's right. I got to Fort Lewis. We go through what's called at that time it was called RIP, Ranger Indoctrination Program. And Ranger Indoctrination Program, after you go through the jump school, after you go through basic training, after you go through this, well, you get to base, and now you have to go through another test. You got to go through another test. See, unlike all the other units in the military, the second and 75th or the 75th Ranger Battalion or Ranger Regiment, they don't have to take you. They don't have to. They don't have to let you stay. They can put your butt on a bus, send you up the road. We call it to leg land. They don't have to take you. If they feel that you don't have what it takes, you know, you just don't have what it takes, and they send your butt on down the road. Well, okay, that's cool. But now I'm a kind of guy that would never really quit because once you quit, like Conrad said, Sergeant Major Conrad said, once you quit, quitting the next time is easy. And then quitting the next time after that's even easier. And it becomes a proliferation of quitting. And you'll never know what you can actually do in life if you're always quitting. Okay. I'm just saying. But anyway, let me move on with this. So what happened was, is that correct, grammar, Doctor Joe? What happened was, I get to Fort Lewis, and I tell you what, and you know why I went to Fort Lewis? I went to Fort. First of all, I love the mountains. I love Mount Rainier. I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, and so, but I knew being from South Bend, Indiana, I knew that I can't come home unless I did something. So I told myself, I tell you what, I'm gonna get to the main point, Big Daddy. I'm gonna get to the main point. I said to myself, okay, the only way I'm going home, here's what happened. Okay, appreciate that. I appreciate that, Dr. Joe. I just wanted to make sure that I get. So here's what happened. So I go to Fort Lewis, and I told myself on the ride up there, I said, listen, I'm never gonna go home without accomplishing what I said I was gonna accomplish to do. So, and I knew that the only way I was going to ever get back home was to get somebody to pay for it because Washington State is a long way from Indiana. So I said to myself, all right, so I'll go up here, and if I make it, then I'll go home. Okay. Okay. So yeah, there's Donald again. Donald has mental issues. He just really, yeah. I ain't mad at him. I mean, Don, listen. Matter of fact, I'm getting to feel sorry for you. Somebody need to call the VA and send the guys in the white coats out there because Don is having flashbacks. Okay, yeah, yeah. I don't even know if he was ever in either. I don't know if he ever was in because we haven't seen anything that said he was in. Nothing. Not a thing. Not a thing. We don't know. But move right along. So I got to Fort Lewis, and here's a Black History moment right here. Yeah, then I'm gonna let you know. So I got there. There was 42 people in my Ranger indoctrination class. 42. 42. 4-2. By the time we got down with that exhausting 3 weeks of learning how to jump with the group and all that stuff, there was 13. And there was only one black person that made it to the end of that session in that group, and that was me. Okay? Not that I was brave, because I wasn't. Oh, city council meeting day, I'll get that one in a minute. Not because I was brave, because I really wasn't. But I didn't really have any money, didn't have any place to go. They was giving me free room and board. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm good. So I knew that the only way I could go home is that the army paid my way back home. So I went so far away from home that if I never made it, they never would have known it, because I wasn't gonna go home a failure. Okay. And I realized that some people think some of the things we do, the 82nd Airborne, which is who I also served with, and Rangers, and I served with I actually served with the Green Berets, First Special Forces Group, as a matter of fact, and they were at Fort Lewis. They got whatever it is called back, re-enhanced or reborn at Fort Lewis, Washington, 1984. I was at 83. It's one of them days anyway. So anyway, so that's just part of my story. That's part of my story. So, but after having 42 people start a class and having 13 make it through the end of the trials, and being the only black man there, now, short black man too, as a matter of fact, I, you know, and if you ever go to my Facebook page, you'll see why I called so much hell, because I was the shortest one of all the people in my section. And so they used to call me all kind of names. And matter of fact, Command Sergeant Major George Conrad, one day somebody just kept calling me nigga. Nigga, 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 nigga. I said, well, so I went to Conrad. I said, well, let me get that word right. Command Sergeant Major Conrad. At the time, he was Sergeant First Class. I went to him. I said, well, why are they calling me that? I'm from Indiana. I've heard the word nigga every once in a while, but I never was. I didn't ever remember being called one. Because in Indiana, we don't call each other niggas and all that kind of thing. And at least not in polite company, at least from what I could remember. Okay. So, oh yeah, and I did jump. Yeah, yeah, I did have a record jumping. Thank you. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Did it 8 times in one day. Just one time did it 8 times one day. Now the Army says you can only do it. The Army said you can only do it 4 times, but the Ranger Battalion in Fort Lewis, Washington, made their own rules. The post sergeant major said one day he's gonna get us all booted off post and send us to Alaska someplace. So anyway, so I got done with that, and yeah, 8 times. Oh, do you know how scary that was? That was scary. You put your butt on the line 8 times in one day. I mean, it's hard enough to get a brother to jump out of an airplane one time, but 8 times in one day. Oh man, that was. But that's okay. I wasn't gonna quit, even if it had to be 40 times in one day, because nobody ever remembers you when you quit. They remember you when you make it through, and that's kind of like what life is. That you can tell all your problems to everybody. Have to, like what the former coach or Notre Dame said. Don't tell people your problems, because you know why? Half the people don't care, and the other half want you to have a couple more. So you just deal with it what you deal with. But anyway, so out of the 42 people, 13 was left. I was the only black guy. I made it through it, and it was interesting. It was an interesting time. Okay, but anyway, and poor yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, no, we didn't. You didn't hear that word until the 90s, I think, every day, like it was just part of the English lexicon. Yeah, that's a word. But Sergeant Conrad told me something. He said that. Then I'm gonna get on to some other things here. Sergeant Conrad told me. He said, if you get, and I never will forget this. He said, if you get caught by the enemy, do you believe that the worst thing that's going to happen to you? Well, see, that's what you see, and this guy doesn't know, because he wasn't there. He never jumped out of Jack, so he doesn't really know. Okay, you talking to a guy that's been there. As a matter of fact, I can get a couple of my guys on the who know me, who on the phone with us one morning. I think on the show with us one morning, and they'll let you tell them that this guy right here is full of it. So, but that's okay. He's jealous. I got the part. I feel you on that one. I got you on that one. But anyway, that was that was my Black History moment. And my other Black History moment here in Montgomery, Alabama. I was the first Black person to drive yellow cab, and it wasn't the fact that they had a prohibition of driving yellow cab. You had to have a driver's license. Okay, so when I got here in '92, that was 92, 91, 92. Yeah, I drove yellow cab. I was the first Black. As a matter of fact, it was such an unusual sight that I went to pick up a lady in yellow cab, and she came outside and she looked at the cab. She looked at me. She looked at the cab, and she looked at me. I said, "Yes, ma'am. I'm Black, and it's yellow cab, and I didn't steal it. Okay, I'm here to pick you up." So that's the second Black History Month here in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm the first one. Okay, so yeah, they've been using the N word since the white man came up with it. Okay, they've been using it. They I don't know about the military could use it, but I don't ever remember anybody using it um, with authority until I got here, until the '90s hit us, and then we just started using it just for the hell of it. I mean, like it was some sort of word that of respect. Okay, and then they tell me, well, no, it ain't Nigger, it's Niggna. Okay, like that really made a difference in the lexicon of the language that we just gonna say rather than nigger. So I don't know where that came from. Maybe it come from public school. I don't know. Somehow you change the last name, you change the last letters, and certainly that makes it a okay word to use. Well, I don't know, but hopefully we're getting out of it. Okay. Uh, what do you think about migrants being attacked? This whole immigration thing is it is it, it, it's heartbreaking, but it has so many personalities to it. Until who was the founder of Black History Month? I'll wait for your answer. Yeah, I didn't know if anybody founded it, but anyway, I don't know. Santiago, listen, I'm Santiago. I don't like the way we are doing our immigration program. At least not the way that it is shown on television. Okay, okay, not the way it's shown on television. But however, if you do come here illegally, then there's a price to pay for that. We can't go. There was this Marine guy who accidentally made the wrong turn down near San Diego, and he spent 2 years in prison because he crossed the border illegally. So he was a Marine, and so I'm saying to myself, well, if they want to do that, and we first of all, we certainly wasn't going down there on purpose. I mean, you don't want to sneak into Mexico. Okay, you just don't want to do that. You just don't want to do that. The opportunities are not there for people. So the question is, nobody should be attacked. But I do not. We have to ignore some pretty interesting things in order to be accepting of illegal immigration. We have to ignore the fact that we do have borders. We have to ignore the fact that you broke the rules by coming legally. So it, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I don't blame people for getting out of there. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor.
How you doing, sir?
Well, after going through your military career, I'm better.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good.
It woke me up.
Okay, good, good. That's what it was for. Yeah. So what's on your
Hey,
mind?
talking about immigration,
Mm,
with the millions of people that come across that border and went across the Rio Grande, dug holes, all that stuff, then you're going to have, just like you have in the military,
hmm
there's no perfect system. You're going to have, collateral damage. You're going to have a system that's not perfect. The medical field, millions of people die from medical malpractice. You're going to have slippage. You're going to have everything's not perfect.
True.
But the bottom line is, Mayor, it's just like what? Why don't you do away with all the trespassing laws that every state, county, and city has, and say, people can go into wherever they want to go, into your home, into your, wherever, because there's no validity to trespassing, and that's what they're doing. They're because other countries have their rules and regulations about who enters the country, and we know what's happened in Europe, not controlling their borders. So, I mean, I feel sorry for someone that finds himself in a bad situation. But this country now has said, and no other country will do it. This country has said, if you report yourself as being here illegally, we will give you a free airplane ride back to your country instead of like they did under, the former president, bringing him here free on an U.S. airplane. We'll send you back, and you can refile. You can file to come here legally, or you can duck and hide. And if we catch you, then you're going to go back forcefully. Forcefully. So there's an avenue to fix this. And I'm sorry they established routes, but you got to do things legally. You got to have, 9/11, the Boston bomber. You've got to control and find out who's in your country. There has to be an organized. You just can't let people come here and say, "Well, we're here now. We're establishing squatters' rights."
Well, listen, and I understand basically what you're saying, but here's my other point too. Everybody knows most of these countries, such as Central America and Latin America, most of these countries, their people catch hell. Um, and so the question would be asked: what would Jesus do if all the people all they want to do is come here for a better way of life? Would Jesus stand in the door and stop them, or would he allow them to come?
Well, then why did Jesus? Why did they separate all the people and send them all over the world and give them different languages?
Mhm.
Why was that done?
Now, of course, I can't talk for him on that because sometimes that seems to be more confusion than anything else. So I don't, yeah, I wouldn't, I couldn't tell. I'm just saying, I think everybody, is it should it be a crime to want a better life?
No, and there's a legal way to do it. Just like all the people that came through Ellis Island that got screened for TB,
Yeah.
that had to learn the English language,
hmm
they did it, and you can still do it that way.
Mm.
But just like when the Mario boat lift in Cuba and Castro turned out all the prisoners and mental patients and sent them over here. You've got to have, and President Obama, he sent a bunch of them back.
Yeah, and that is true, but You know,
But
I
but
did,
when
it's but I tell you, it's difficult for me to reconcile putting people in a bus and tying their hands with tie strips because all they want to do is, there's a group of people in this country in the world that I wouldn't want here because their lifestyle is inconsistent with um, with our way of life. And there's a group that it certainly I think would be dangerous to us, and we're seeing the proliferation of. But this the folks from Mexico, Nicaragua, and all those places, Venezuela, their lifestyle is more consistent with ours. We don't believe in killing folks because they're gay. We don't believe in honor killings and things of that nature. Um, it's a difficult thing to me. I don't, and if the United States would stop making it so difficult to get and so expensive to get here, then maybe we could cut down on some of this, But
well, it was an honor and a privilege to come to this country, and you had to learn the English language, and you had to have a way to support yourself. But so many of these people now look at what's going on in Minnesota, and that's just one place they've uncovered.
mhm.
All of these people get on these false, and they issue false papers. They get on government programs.
But so do some of our
And,
people who had wait a minute. So do some of our people who had every opportunity to succeed in this country that a human being could have almost if they're willing to put in the work. And they're doing it worse than people coming here with a prayer and a wish.
yeah, but at least they're here legally. They're not here illegally. But you're talking about people. They want a better way of life. Well, there's a way to do that, and there's a legal process. But just imagine, we're always whining, we're always talking about the past and about hard times. Just imagine, Mayor, if you'd been born in 1900 at 14 and World War I starts and there's killing of 22 million people in that war, and you went in to that war at such a very young age. And then at age 20, the Spanish flu kills 50 million more people.
Yeah, yeah.
And at 29, the Great Depression hits with massive unemployment and hunger.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think those Americans didn't have it hard?
Oh, I think.
And
yeah, I think everybody.
And at 39, World War II begins, ending with when you're 45, and with 60 million dead.
Yeah.
And then the Korean War at 50. If you're 52 now, the Korean War is hit, and Vietnam War from 64 to 75 years of age.
Right.
You survived it all, but now we have this generation of whiners that say, "Oh, you can't. It's inhumane. It's uncomfortable to send these people back because they entered the country illegally."
Now,
all those people, Mayor, went through hell. They went through hard times.
They did. But what was worse than that? What was worse than that is people who had been here their whole lives who were treated like they came from someplace else.
Oh, exactly. And that's why they kicked the door down. They opened the door for all these whiners.
Yeah.
That want to jump on,
I don't want to be a person that's in charge of that department of the United States government. I understand the technicalities of it all. If you come here illegally, then you have broken the law, and I got you. I just wish we had a better way of doing it. I just wish we had a better.
Well, there's been a time-honored tradition that was passed down through the ages, and for some reason, we decided to abandon that system.
Yeah.
And the Democrats, they were the worst ones in the world. All these Hollywood elites that wear these buttons now.
Yeah.
About ICE, and they had their house folks, their yard folks, their pool folks.
Yeah. And they looked at those people as subservients. And I had a disdain for that kind of attitude for people, because you look at them as like they're strictly here to serve you, and I just, I could.
Well, we know one that was here to serve, the one that old Arnold pregnated.
Okay, well, he was helping around.
Yeah, yeah, he was trying to get her here legally. He was
Yeah,
doing his part.
yeah, yeah.
All right, you have a good day, mate.
Yeah, I mean, he was just trying to, help her out, whatever the case may be. Ah, now they're living. The Europeans stole and pillaged, stole everything. No, no. Every group of people got its own story. Good morning.
Good morning, Sergeant Elkins.
Good morning.
So I think most of your audience and most of America understand people that came across the border illegally and they have been in this country for 20 years. There should be a pathway for citizenship. Now, this administration said they were going to go after the criminals, those people that were, causing American citizens great harm.
Right.
The person that killed Lincoln Riley. If you are in a U.S. jail cell, there should be no sanctuary cities. Those people should be able to have border come in and ICE and deport those people. Those are criminals.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
But Kevin,
yeah.
So if you travel and you go anywhere out west, California, or if you go down to Florida, there should be a work visa for people that wants to come to this country, seasonal, and be able to make a living for them family, and then go back. Now, you have some familiarity with this process. I mean, Marcy, how difficult was it for her to come from Jamaica to the U.S.? How expensive was that?
It's quite expensive. It's quite. Every time you send a letter in, you got to send them a $500 bill or $200 bill. I mean, it's an arduous process.
Now, what about this administration that says if you got $5 million, you can buy a gold card and you can come on head of the line? So isn't the system set up for the haves, and we don't care about the have-nots?
That's about where we are.
So if you got $5 million, you can get this gold card, from what I understand. Now, have you heard that?
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
I think Nicki Minaj has been in this country forever, and she's not a citizen. And I think she just posted her gold card. That's why she's with this administration, right?
Well,
but what about the person that's been here? You have people serving in the military that are unregistered aliens.
And it used to be if you served in the military, you were helped with your. I think it was a pathway to citizenship.
When I went to my son's graduation at Parris Island, these people were completing recruit training, and they had a special swearing-in ceremony for them prior to graduation. These people were from other countries, and they gave them the oath of citizenship. So you are able to join the armed services without being a resident of this country. Without being a U.S. citizen, you're able to join the armed services. Were you aware of that?
I didn't know you could knowingly do it and be here.
You can enlist.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. Yeah. Well, I know we had enlisted, and part of that deal was if they served this nation with honor and stuff like that, they got their citizenship, at least in the 70s anyway. Now what we got now, I don't exactly know, but I don't have a problem. You put your butt on the line for this nation. Yeah, you.
So again, if you are in this country and you are doing citizens harm, raping, burglary, murderer, get them out of the country. Border Patrol ought to be able to come in. ICE ought to be able to come in. No sanctuary cities. We're not protecting criminals. But for a person that's been here 20 years and they have embedded themselves into this country and they pay taxes. So don't think that they don't pay taxes.
Yeah, they do.
They pay taxes.
Yeah.
So if you are a business person and you have a business and you have all these people you count on that are working, hardworking people that are renting homes here in West Montgomery or East Montgomery, and they go to school, and then you come to the services and just take their children. I just think that's what Americans have a challenge with. We want law and order, but we want a immigration process that works. Should be a pathway to citizenship. If you've been here for 20 or 25 years, come out the shadows.
Yeah.
Let us, don't say go back home, get in line, and you've been here 20 years and work your way through the system. Because you could be
and being productive and God-fearing, law-abiding citizen.
Let me ask you, do you think we treat brown-skinned people different than we treat immigration from other countries? If you're brown, do you think their process is different than other ethnicities?
That is an interesting question, because the one thing I also have noticed is that blacks who come from other African nations treated differently
than Europeans.
No, than blacks who were born here.
But what about the European migrants? Are they treated different?
Because we can't tell who they are.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right, sir. I'll listen.
Okay. Because there are South Africans who are white who come here, and they're not exactly treated like the brothers. But that's a whole different. Yes, Don.
Oh, Willie's filling it full of crap today. Illegals can't join the military today.
Are you aware of that? They were able to join the military.
They aren't allowed to join the military. Illegals are not can join the military. Look it up, Willie Durham. And then he talks about work visas. Canada, every day, thousands of people come across with work visas. The thing about work visas, it requires the people that need the help to apply for it. Illegals don't want to do that. Many of them just want to come across, bring their families, who need all the social network systems and everything else. I just get so tired of it. It's about, Willie, are they filling the air? Did 20 million whites from Europe come into the country, Willie? What do you think? You think Willie's going to say 20 million whites from Europe came in?
I don't know. I just know.
He's such a bigot. And then he talks about, I think the bad ought to be released from jail to ICE. That's what they're not doing. Is he so eager to realize that they won't do that in Minnesota?
Right. And that's what he said, that we shouldn't have sanctuary cities or anything like that.
But that's not the Democratic Party. Their sanctuary cities, they would not release them murderer to the ICE.
Yeah. I'm with Trump.
And Willie,
put them in.
Get your facts straight, Willie. Illegals can't join the military. Check it out and call me a liar.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up, because I do know we had people who weren't citizens who joined the military back in the day. It's 8:09 in the morning. This immigration thing has gotten way out of control. It just, and I personally don't have the answers. Good morning.
The Elkins.
Yes.
Now, all the crime in the United States, has the crime stopped in Chicago and all these cities? Have the crime stopped yet? Are the murderers and all that stuff stopped yet?
Nope.
No,
of course not. But we know who's doing most of it.
But according to the last two callers, not the last two callers, but Steve and Curmudgeon, that all the illegals doing all the killing and the raping and you name it, they the only one doing all this stuff. So the American people, we feel safe now because they got them all out of here now. So we should just do away with the police departments and all that, because we're crime free right now, aren't we, Kevin? According to the so-called conservatives.
Well, of course, we're not crime free, but that's
all we hear. That's all we hear. Damn it, that all these people that doing the crime is illegals. They raping your wife and they throwing the baby out with the bath water and dragging the little boy behind the car and all this stuff, man. And I just don't understand, where's this other crime coming from since the illegals doing all this crime, Calvin? Come on, baby.
Well, listen. We got legal people here doing crime, illegal people. I think one of the concerns about, especially in the military, you can be you don't have to be a citizen to join the military, but you do have to be legally here.
I
Okay,
ain't saying nothing about no military. I'm talking about all this crime. Now let's stick with subject matter at hand.
but
We
most of
talking about that all this crime because every day I hear these people on TV. They make commercials now about the crime this, crime that. See, you can put the damn Mississippi Burning movie back on. Okay, put it on.
yeah.
They got it on what's that Tuba. They got on. You can pull up Mississippi Burning. These white folks talking that same stuff about the Negroes. About they're gonna rape your wife and they're gonna steal
Well,
your
well, so,
car and they're
well, well,
gonna
well, well,
kill you. They're gonna kill
well,
out the whole neighborhood and all this
wait,
other
wait,
nonsense.
wait a minute.
We've
So,
been hearing that for years and years and years as
and is
black
that
people. So
not
it ain't nothing brand new for us, Kevin.
right? But is that not what's going on in most of our urban cities?
What you
Black
talking about?
black folks killing each other. Is that not
That's
what's
in the project. We talking about you talking about the projects, folks. Project people got a different mentality than some of these
Wait a minute. Wait
major
a minute.
city projects,
Says
housing
who?
projects. Yes, they do. They got a different mentality. Now you know that.
No, I don't.
Now, if you live in some of these places, you got to fight your way in and out of that place
But
every
who?
day.
But who are you fighting?
You know.
But who are you fighting yourself through? Is people who look like you.
But let's think about but what I'm saying, Calvin, all these the illegals coming in here doing all this killing and stuff. I hadn't seen any pictures on the TV. You know, Trump and love to post stuff on TV
Well,
like
I
Don
mean,
Lemon.
we
You know,
have had
when they arrest people,
right. We
huh?
have had illegals doing things, but we had
But
more
what I'm saying, Calvin, I know that,
legal
but
people here doing things.
they go out and find one little two or three little cases and put on TV. I want to see a bunch of people on TV where they really investigated the person and did the due process and all that and said, here these people are. But no, we don't hear that. They get one guy that raped somebody 15 years ago and put his picture on TV.
Yeah.
Just like they used to do the Brother Man back in the day.
Mhm.
Oh, they used to get us and this the one right here, Becky, that did that to you. That's him. To find out 2 or 3 months later they had Becky lied on her.
Mm.
Huh?
Yeah.
She sneaked out in the damn barn with that black man. She she sneaked out there with him, but she got caught out there with him and she had to lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the man got hung and drugged behind a pickup truck back in the 60s and
Well,
all that. You know what I'm talking about, Kevin.
Listen, we pay people a lot of money in government to come up with solutions for some of these problems, and it seems that we have an exodus of intellect leaving this country and not being able to come, because these are some problems that we ought to be able to figure this out. All this money we paying.
Well, let me tell you something though. Reason why you're not gonna figure this stuff out, Kevin?
Mhm.
Because day one, your president pardoned all these criminals that beat the hell out of police, and all of a sudden he loves police now. See?
Well, let me ask something. Who? Wait a minute. How about the police that beat the hell out of us? So I mean, come on, man.
I know that, but what I'm saying now,
Okay.
you got this guy that's supposed to be the leader of this country.
Okay.
He pardoned all these people that beat the hell out of police.
And
now they bitching because the police might.
Until the Constitution of the United States says that we have a right to redress grievances with our government. That's what it gives us the right to do.
If you got a preacher that come up on the pulpit every Sunday, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And preaches about right and wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the first thing the preacher does when he got a convention going on is for just pardon all the people that did all the sin.
Mm.
But the ones that doing sin right now, you letting that slide. But you put the other ones to death. But you do in the old days. What's wrong with that picture, Kevin?
I don't know, brother. Yeah,
they call it hypocritical. They have called it hypocriticalness, bullshit, or whichever terminology you want to call it.
And this is why we have people in elected office, supposedly smarter than we are, that's supposed to be able to figure this stuff out. And boy, I'm telling you,
Kevin, what? You guys wasn't that smart because you put Donald Trump back in the White House.
Wait a minute. Donald Trump looks. Wait a minute. Donald Trump looks like he's kind of wacko because we went so far.
No.
We went
You
so
guys knew this
far
man
to
was
the.
very flawed.
We're
But
all
y'all
flawed.
trying to hurt the brown and the black folks so much where y'all say, damn, we'll go
Okay,
along just to get along
show me how the
and just to
man is trying
punish
to hurt.
them, just to punish the brown folks.
Show me how the man is trying to hurt black folks.
Beating the hell out of them out there in the street, and every day look brown, you want to pull them over and this and that. All
okay.
Do you have enough time on your show to go through all this stuff, man?
No.
You know what Trump been doing. You've been watching what the hell he been doing.
And we call that Bravo Sierra. He's also let a lot of black folks out of jail that been in had long sentences for drugs.
We can call it a pile of shit too, can't we?
Yeah,
don't say the real word.
Anyway, I gotta go. You're killing me here. Okay, wait. All right, listen. Let me take a 3-minute break, and we'll be right back after these messages. So hang loose. I gotta. Every time I talk to my man right there, my mind just get all confused. Okay, so hang loose. We'll be right back. Alrighty. I'm to get busy living. Oh, me and AI wrote this song. Yeah, me and AI wrote that song, and it's time to get up and get busy living. Anyway, move right along to other things. I don't know what we're gonna do about the immigration problem. But here's the one question that nobody's actually answered the question: what major problems besides criminal activities? What other major problem does have? Because it's not about land. We got more land. Every human being on God's earth could set. We could put them shoulder to shoulder in just about any city in America. And I know in Los Angeles County they can. So what's the big deal? What are we just kind of prejudiced a little bit? Are we just a little bit? I think we are kind of ticked off because most of us only can speak one language, and most of them because we never had to beg anybody for anything as the United States of America. We brought people in from different dialects, different parts of the world, and who added something to the the corporation of America. And so we've never really had to, learn a different language going in place. I mean, now when I would go overseas, I would always try to learn something about the language where I was. Either German, Korean, Japanese, um, uh, and a few other places. I've always tried to learn at least a couple phrases so wouldn't look like too stupid. Now, sometimes I wouldn't know what I was saying, but I learned a little bit. I know a little Espanol, poquito Espanol, but since I never really had to learn it very much, anyway, I didn't pay much attention in high school. Um, but I will admit that if I have a problem with not illegal immigration, my problem comes from people who come here and don't want to be us, but want to take things from us. And when I say us, I mean the culture of America. I got a problem with people who put up their flags of their own country, which is cool. You have a right to be proud of where you are from. But if it was all that good, and I think a lot of Americans get upset at this. Wait a minute, if where you from is all that good, then why are you here? Why are you in America? If America is lacking the things that you think we should have, then why are you here? And that's the only problem I have with the. I see it's kind of like looking at talking about you got a you have a Auburn flag and an Alabama football flag in your yard. Man, listen, don't be a wuss. Take a side. Take a side. Okay, don't try to hold on both ends. That's my only problem. If you love America and you love what we stand for, and that's opportunity to rise above your circumstances and to be the best you can be. I got no problem with that. People coming here wanting to do that. Unfortunately, though, America has become a place where people just want to come yank what they can get and keep moving. Yeah. Where's the pride of being an American? And what is an American? An American is a country built by people from everywhere else under one idea. Under one idea. Out of many. I think it's a Jamaican saying, out of many, one. Which is that word called Jamarius Putum or whatever that word is. It means out of many, one. I think we just got people coming here still want to be one. They don't want to be part of. And if black folks are trying to be part of one, then everybody coming over here ought to be able to being able to be one. I mean, we got black folks. We my mother and father and grandmother and grandma, would fight for a country. And let's go back to Vietnam here for a second. I got folks over in Vietnam getting shot for a country that won't even let them come in the front door. Let's take the Tuskegee Airmen. So even they thought it was worth the sacrifice to make it better for somebody else, make it better for people like me. My generation should try to make it better for the people coming up under us. And I do believe that we live in a nation today that gives you the opportunity to do whatever you want to do if you're willing to put in the work. Did anybody say it's going to be easy? No. I know some people that call this show who started from nothing, came from projects, you know, who living pretty good, not because somebody gave it to them, because they took advantage of the opportunities that they were given. And like when the judge looked at me and said, "Look here, you want to go those guys back there, or you want to go this guy back here?" Well, okay, Big Bubba. I don't think he's gonna have too much patience with me. So I went on with the guys with the uniform on, you know. So you got to take advantages of the things that you get access to. So I don't know, but it just the way it is. So, but if you want to come to America, then come to America to be an American, and being an American means out of many, one. Out of many, one. That's what's that word? Eurymus plumum or plumber, whatever that word is. Anyway, it's kind of like I was trying to figure out that word yesterday about electrolytes. I couldn't figure out what it was, but saved my life. Let me see now. Then Japan, Hawaii, San Diego. Yeah, been a lot of places, bro. Been a lot of places. Yeah. hmm It's Latin, a hell of a lot older than Jamaica. We lost. Okay, then lift yourself from your boot stamp where you don't have boots. Well, yeah, but you still got feet. And if you have feet, you can walk someplace. Put some leaves around your feet. You got to do what you got to do. And everybody had at some. Excuse me. Thank you. E pluribus unum, which means out of many one. And if you don't come here with that attitude, I'm gonna join the rest so we can become one family. Okay. Matter of fact, I think Bob Marley, I believe, came with a song called "Out of Many One." I forgot exactly. One love. Yeah, one love. One love. Okay, never mind. Don't worry about it. I'm not him. Okay, I'm not him. I can't sing like Bob Marley there. Bob Marley was the man. Anyway, moving on to other things. Now, let's talk about something serious here right now. Because I brought this up yesterday, and nobody really wanted to have a long conversation about this because it requires us to look way deep inside our own self and find out what it is that we really want. Now, I said yesterday, and I mean it. I haven't seen anything that would change my mind in the last 3 or 4 elections. We're not serious about voting, and we're not really serious about illegal immigration either. We're not really serious about it. I mean, it's a platform, and we can throw our sword on it and act like we're fighting it, but we're really not serious about it because if we were, we'd fix it. If we were, we would fix it. And one of the reasons why we're not very serious about it, because I hate to say this, but it's absolutely truth. Democrats want people who feel an allegiance to them and not the country. And therefore, they've been trying to figure out how to get illegal people to vote in this country. They've been trying to figure it out for years. Okay, that's what they've been trying to figure out. And so what is it? What is it that we need to be serious about? Well, we need to be serious about our voting process. We need to be serious about who we vote for. We got to stop putting idiots in office because they say something that they know doggone well they can't do anything. Not a thing. Not a thing. So, anybody seen Jamel Brown? I keep calling him. But he ain't answering the phone. So anybody hearing from Jamel, let me know. Okay, not just him. I call. Oh, and evidently the Alabama Republicans have decided that they wasn't going to hold Tuberville to the same standard they hold anybody else when it comes to residency. I'll get you that in a little bit here. So listen, it's their party. These are private parties. They can change their rule if they want to. Okay, I mean, okay. Now, let me ask something. What is the one thing that any representative can do, and what is the one thing they cannot do? Okay, and you ever hear these guys? And now I didn't know what's name was the teacher. He's running for somebody's office. KK Middleton's running for somebody's office. It amazes me how man Kagan got his number changed and everything. Brother, trying to call him up and see what his platform is. Can't seem to get KK. Doesn't call Shamari figures a few times. They get to Washington D.C. and I realize you got committee meetings. But nobody's that busy. Especially since all you have to do now is pick up a cell phone and join a podcast or join a conference with anybody today without having to come all the way back to Montgomery, Alabama. So where is and even our local yokos around here make us try to make us believe that they're that busy. They're that busy until they can't really come on and talk to you for 5 or 10 minutes. I mean, really, are we really that busy in Washington D.C.? Okay. Now I'm trying to look for the. Yeah, I'm trying to look for the. Oh, no, what am I trying to look? I'm trying to look for the schedule of events today, but somebody got them sent it to me in my email or through my Windows Messenger. What you want, Don?
Hey, Ken, what's the requirements for the governor of Alabama?
Well, you got to be in that. You got to live in the state of Alabama for at least 7 years.
Okay, what's it got to do with Republicans? If he hasn't had residency in 7 years, why don't people like Willie Durham and Democrats sue him?
Well, he does have a house here.
They sue for everything in the world, right?
Yeah, but
you keep saying he ain't legal resident. Well, if he's not a legal resident, sue him. I bet you could get old Joe Reed Jr. to sue him if he's illegal.
Well, again,
you don't think so?
And again,
see, you just keep rambling off on stuff. If it's illegal for him to do it, the Democrats would sue him.
Right, but I'm not blaming him.
It's just BS. It's BS.
The question
I
is,
wanted to bring up something. I wasn't able to call yesterday. I had some appointments. Oh, by the way, tomorrow, 4th February, is my anniversary coming in the military. I joined 4th February 1971. How many years ago is that?
That's been a few.
Well, I wanted to help you because yesterday you were talking about the occupational tax. You talk about coming in on roads and bridges.
Mm-hmm.
What road and bridges do they come on?
Well, all of them.
What's name one?
Well, they come in 85. I know it's a federal. I know it's
85 is a state. 85 is a state highway. You know how much money the city of Montgomery puts into 85?
I think 85 is not
zero.
85 is not state highway.
It is a state highway. They state highways that go all the way through the city.
How much?
65 is a state highway.
No, I guarantee.
You know how much money the city puts into a state highway?
I don't know.
They put nothing in. So your whole theory is full of crap.
Why is it that I see federal workers working on 65 and 85?
What federal workers are you seeing on 65?
The Department of Transportation.
No, you ain't.
Yes, I know what I see.
Maybe the Alabama Department of Transportation, but the federal government don't have people like that. They may give money for the state to do it.
Let me check here, because now you
don't know what you're talking about, like so many things. Well, why are you so up for the occupational tax? How much money have you paid taxes to the city of Montgomery?
Well, I pay taxes every day.
No, you don't even have a license.
Negro.
You don't even have a city license.
Negro.
I called down there. You don't even have a city license. Run in the bedroom and grab it. If you got one, run in the bedroom and grab it, and I won't ever call the station again. Or you're old.
Wait a minute.
Run in there and grab your license. Just bring it out. Show it to us.
You promise you won't call me back?
Run in the bedroom and grab it.
Okay. Well, I got an office in here.
So, you don't have a city license.
I've had.
You don't pay no taxes. And you griping about other people paying taxes. Okay. You tried to falsify your state taxes 2 years ago, and they came after
you. You are miserable.
It's so pathetic. Somebody like you talking about others paying taxes, and you don't even pay.
Listen, you are a miserable son of a gun. Okay, I've had a business license in Montgomery since 1992. Okay, how many years has that been? I've never conducted business in the city of Montgomery without a license. Okay, now you can call down there again and ask them. As a matter of fact, I forgot to fill out a piece of paper one day last month, I guess whenever I put it on, and they sent me the paper but they kept the check. Okay, they kept the check, but they want me to fill out a piece of paper, which I'll do that later on. But I've never worked in this city without a license. Never. You ever see me downtown in front of the city council? Okay. No. I've always had a license. And listen, I don't make a lot of money, so the license don't cost me a whole lot of money. But at least I try to be legal in my business, because when you go to people's homes and people's communities, they want to make sure that you at least halfway right when you come in their communities. And I've had my commuter business. I've been in business a long time in this city. Okay, first it was Butler by phone, but that didn't work out too good because people didn't quite understand the concept. But anywhere, I call him a Negro. That's right. That's what I call him. I call him Don. Don is a white man who wants to be a brother. Okay, so I'm gonna call him one. That's what he is. He's a white man that wants to be a brother. Okay, the Republicans' opponent. What is that? The Republicans' opponent going to sue. He never said he wants a citizen. He wasn't a citizen of Florida. Only said he tried it before, and this time going to be different. Okay, whatever. I don't care. But I knew yesterday. I looked up the news. In the news yesterday, the Republican Party pretty much said, "Hey, we'll let him run." Okay. I mean, if we can let Jamel Brown run, we can let anybody run. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about voting again. Let me get back to it. That man, No, I'm not going to block down. I'm not going to block him. I'll just let him call and make an idiot of himself. Um, wow, time goes by fast when you're having fun. Kelly's vegetation management, 182,000 herbicide application. What in the world is that at? Is that something on the that's I wanted to call him something else, Willie, but I it wouldn't come out of my mouth at that particular time. The guy has the guy has mental issues. Okay, he just got him. I think he's got P envy or something. I mean something wrong with him. He needs to get laid or something. I don't know what the problem is, but he yeah, just do something, man. Stop using your hands or something. I understand. I feel you on that one. Lord have mercy. All right, let's see. Who is this? Who is this? Then sent me a note here. Oh, okay. Appreciate that. Okay. Who is suing Tuberville on his house resident for run? I don't know. I saw something run yesterday about it, and evidently he's an idiot. Who's an idiot? Woo. Anyway, so let me find. Okay, I think somebody sent me the uh the thing for the okay. What is going on? What is going on? Who is suing Tuberville on his housing residence? I don't know, but evidently the evidently the 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 Republican Party seems to be um okay with him running. I mean, I don't really know what's going on. February the 3rd, that's the day, the regular meeting at the city council. And here are some of the things. Appreciate you with these. Here are some of the things that are on the consent agenda. Consent agenda items not for discussion by council or the public, just vote by the council. If discussion is requested by a council member, item must be pulled from the consent agenda and discussed after vote of remaining things. So here's some of the things on the consent agenda. Easy Go, Easy Dash Go, 704,000 and $35 golf cart leases. Why we need that? $707,000. I thought we still got places right here that can't even get indoor water. Parks and Recreation carried over from 2026. Microsoft 365 Enterprise licensing, $767,803 and $803.13. I got to tell you, we got more things. We got more things that we can use besides Microsoft 365. Okay, $767,000. But I guess I kind of understand it for the first year. Total is $203,409.39 over 3 years. No wonder Bill Gates is doing all right. Musco Sports Lighting, $771,000, replacing the lighting at Riverwalk Stadium with LED lights. Parks and Recreation. Pool Solutions, $162,000. Pool repairs and maintenance, somewhere in Montgomery, I guess. Kellis Vegetation Management, $182,134 herbicide application. I guess we need that. Why don't we just get a bunch of kids out there in the prison with spray cans and let them just go in there? That's a lot of money to pay. Spectrum Environmental Incorporated, $57,000, $57,200 additional testing services for the 9th Street commercial demolition, whatever that is. Number 7, old business. Resolution appointing Taylor Williams to the Montgomery Airport Authority by Councilor Pruitt, replacing Conwell Hopper or Hooper, or whichever one it is. I can't never get on the board down there that I want to get on. And I want to be on the housing board, or I want to be on the water board. Boards that we hardly have anything about until we get the bill. New business. Review business license of A&H Apartment LLC, Abraham Bia Coca, whatever that name is, doing business as Rosa Parks Place Apartment by Councilor Riley. Review of business licenses of Ari Rotham, EEG Management, doing business at the Sherwood Apartments by Councilor Riley. Number 10, resolution directing mayor to execute a sanitary sewer easement, Guyong Tech USA Incorporated, for the purpose of installing and maintaining a sanitary sewer force main through Woodcrest Park and Thornwood Drive. Number 11, application for billiard business, Lenyata Young, doing business at Volume 3 on Harrison Road. Number 12, application for a restaurant retail license for Bren's Wings, doing business as Bren's Wings on 5761 Atlanta Highway. Number 13, resolution appointing Shanta, Shanta Pinnick to the Montgomery Clean City Commission, useless board there, by Councilor Johnson, replacing Ronald James. Number 14, appeal of nuisance violation of Tosh Gray on 1703 Corson Street, whatever you pronounce that, Crouson. Number 15, pursuant to Section 11-53B-1, Code of Alabama, authorization of demolition of unsafe structures in the listed locations, 1904 Johnson Street and 2146 Lower Wetumpka Road. Number 16, resolution assessing the cost of abatement and unsafe structures in various locations pursuant to Section 11-53B in the Code of Alabama. Number 17, we have resolution declaring public nuisance, authorizing immediate abatement and assessing cost of abatement to public nuisances on various lots pursuant Chapter 12 of the Code of Ordinances. And of course, council as a committee, public communication for non-agenda items. And again, they always put us last. See, that part I don't quite understand about the city council. The people who pay the bills are relegated to last place on the agenda. Now that right there, I'll never understand that. Why we got to be last? Why we got to be last? Somebody tell me, why do the people who pay the bills have to be relegated to the last spot on the thing rather than first? Since we pay the bills, you would think that we would get a little bit more priority than being last. When the street lights are on and everybody going home, they're gonna let us come down there and say our piece that nobody's ever gonna hear because they're gonna turn the cameras off. Okay, so maybe I can call Mr. Calhoun and see whether or not he can answer that question for me. Okay, why are we? Okay, let me see. Okay, because I don't quite get. Oh, here we go right here. Okay, no, okay, that's not It ain't Malcolm. No, it ain't Malcolm. Okay, we're just gonna see why we get to. Okay, why we get to. I mean, we know it's a privilege to come down there and have a conversation. I'm with you, but I just don't quite understand why it is that we, the people who pay the bills, okay, COR. What's Cornelius' phone? Anybody know? Okay, let me see if I can. Let me see if I can get him to answer the phone. Okay, there we go, right there. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't see him on here someplace, but I know he's on here someplace. Anyway, so talking about other things, but I still haven't figured that out yet. I still haven't figured out yet why the city of Montgomery. Now in Prattville, they don't do that. In Prattville, you get to talk first. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out why it is that we, as the citizens of Montgomery, get relegated to absolutely last place on the agenda. I think that's a little bit of insulting to the people who pay the bills, who pay all the heavy taxes, who if the occupational tax does get some. Here's another thing. I'm glad I brought this up. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been hoodwinked. We've been BS'd. Okay, we've been hoodwinked and BS. And why is that? Well, let me tell you why. You realize that the word tax means a lot of things. It means involuntarily taking your money. Okay, taking your money involuntary. That's what tax means. Well, the government's going to take your money whether you want to give it away or not. Okay, whether you want to give it away or not. So we've been hoodwinked, and I'm gonna ask Reed Ingram, and who's the other guy? Who's the representative for? Who's the other? Took what's the name? Place. You realize that any time the government wants to take money from you, and we don't call it a tax, what do we call it? What? Okay. What do we call? Okay. VA. Call me back later. So anytime the government wants to take money from you and they don't want to call it a tax, what do they call it? Anybody know? Anybody know what they call it? And it's a maneuver that gets the tax word out of the equation and out of the conversation. Okay. Okay. Anybody know what they call it? Well, come on now. Somebody knows. Somebody knows what they call it because we've been BS for so long until the BS beginning to sound like the truth. Okay. That's right. The city, and even though libtard out there it's got penis envy of me, and I understand. I feel you, brother, on that one. But he is not totally wrong about everything. Mostly everything, but he's wrong. But he's right about one thing. You cannot have an income tax, okay, generated by the city. You can't do that. You can't do that. But what can you do when it comes to getting money? What can we do in order to get money out of the citizens without calling it a tax? Somebody knows. Somebody knows what you can do with it. And this is and so we've been hoodwinked by this occupational tax quote unquote thing. What is it called so you don't have to call it a tax? Hmm? Anybody knows? Come on, somebody knows. Okay. And exactly, it's not part that's right, but it is part because and that's why they do it with at the end of the uh there you go, Willie. There you go. It is a fee, not a tax. So we change the verbiage and we change the dynamics of the money. See, so no, we don't want an occupational tax. We want a fee for coming into our city every day, using the roads and the uh, and the roads and the the infrastructure that has got to be paid for by somebody. So we need to implement a fee for people who live outside Montgomery, okay, or live in Montgomery, whatever the case may be. It's a road fee, not a tax, because we don't have the authority. We don't have the authority to put tax on. Okay, okay. I'm just saying. So so that's what we need to do because we've been hoodwinked for a long time because politicians know how to use the words. Okay, so we're not trying to implement a tax anymore. We want a fee. Okay, we want a fee because fees are not taxes. It is what people pay to access or gain access to a service, okay, or a place that under normal circumstances you would not have it. So we don't want a commuter tax. We want a fee. And that I believe, that's my understanding, that is the city council could pass that fee without the House of Representatives, since they do run the city. Ooh, ooh, yeah. Yes, sir. So we don't, in my understanding is that we can bypass the local legislative body because we're not implementing any tax whatsoever. It is a fee, okay, to help us maintain our roads and our infrastructure and things of that nature. Okay. See, and that's right. 85 and 65 are federal highways. That's right. I knew they were. See, I knew I'm not stupid dumb, but Donald Laurie, he's not as smart as you think it is. Okay, he said, what did he say? You couldn't call it a fee. They're paying for it. Upkeep. No, 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 no. What they're paying for is the well, I don't know what we're paying for, but we pay for everything else. Why am I paying for water? Why am I paying a water fee? Why am I paying fees for water? Water's free. Okay. Or we need to just put some toll bridges into place, and that way we can get some of that money. So when they leave here every afternoon, going back to Prattville, Millbrook, Wetumpka, wherever we're going, we get a little change left. Okay. So it's a fee. And I don't believe that the city, I don't believe that the city has to go to anybody to enact a fee. I don't think I don't think we have to do that. Yes, sir.
Mayor, the reason they're not going to sue him is because there's a loophole. You know, people like loopholes. They
Right.
like them in criminal cases. They like them in civil cases.
Right.
There's a loophole that says that if you own a residence and you claim it on homestead exemption,
Mm-hmm.
then you are eligible to run for governor.
Okay, I knew there was something. I mean, this Tuberville ain't no dummy. It's not a dummy. So I knew there was something. But I was reading it yesterday too that they he's scot free to run.
Yeah. Well, that's why. And it doesn't make any difference whether you're Republican or Democrat or independent. If you own a residence, which is he does in Auburn, and is claimed as homestead exemption, then you're allowed to run. Just that simple.
Hmm. Well, so
Have a good day, Mayor.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I knew something was up. I mean, the guy has been in the U.S. Senate for a while, so he's not a dummy. I mean, come on. So can we just in the future really say that listen, he didn't found the loophole. Okay, he didn't found the loophole. It's a law. Well, it's a law with a loophole in it. Okay. So anyway, and again, you're wrong. 85 and 65 are federal highways. Okay, I just thought I'd let you know that. So you're not smart about everything. All right then. And again, I'm right again. And I still didn't get an opportunity, but let's talk. I wish I could find my Calhoun guy here, since he's. Do we need approval to enforce a fee? I don't think we do. I think we can put a fee on just about anything we want to. We can put porta toilets on the street and say, hey, you want to use these? That's quarter fee. His homestead is in Florida. Well, I would imagine he owns a house. I know he owns a house in Auburn, and if he's claiming homestead exemption, uh, well, trust me, there's too many eyes looking on this for this guy not to know where he sits. Okay, I don't care who repairs it. It's a federal highway. 85 and 65 are federal highways. Okay, now the state may help, I guess, because some of these highways share the road with a state highway moniker anyway, okay, like 80 and things of that nature. But 85 and 65 are not state highways. Okay, the state highways are Ann Street, Federal Drive, 30 and 361 or what 31 and 21 and 41, whichever one of those little numbers are. Okay, but yeah, you don't know everything. I don't care who repairs it. We repair it. The money's coming from all of us, so that's who's repairing it. But I'm telling you that 65 and 85 is federal highway. Okay, now trust me on that. That's why I'm the smartest guy in podcasting. All right, moving on other thing. Now, again, I didn't get a chance to get to what I wanted to get to today because I spent too much time talking about things that I probably shouldn't have been talking about. I'll pick this up on tomorrow. Okay, and I'm waiting for anybody who's responsible for the federal. It would be the Department of Transportation, or do we have a Department of Highways, whatever it is, but it won't be, but it's probably a partnership between the state as well as the federal government. Okay. Well, evidently, he must be paying taxes on his Auburn residence because he's going to run for governor. And I know absolutely for absolute fact that that man would not be running for governor if he hadn't crossed the T's and dotted the I's. So we can set all we want to and try to get him out of there. You know, he's a dummy. He's a dummy. Listen, I wish I was a big ass dummy like that with all the money he done made. So listen, if that's what it is to be a dummy, let me be one. I mean, yeah, the man that and got been a U.S. senator for years now. He's been a coach, a football, a pretty successful one, as a matter of fact. So listen, yeah, I'm going with Tuberville on this one. Okay, and of all the people that are running now, out of all the people that are running, at least in the Republican side, there's nobody running on the Republican side that I'd vote for but him at this moment if I was going to vote Republican. I'm still trying to figure out this thing with the Democrats when it comes to Jamil Brown. Anyway, anybody see Jamil Brown out there? Kevin Elkins is looking for him to come do this show. And let's see what he got. Now, somebody just tell him, Jamil, come talk to a real live brainiac here. Okay. Come talk to me. Convince me that we're not wasting our time. Okay. Listen, Donald, brother, I can't help you. Okay. 85 and 65 are state highways. Now, listen, hey, they don't have to be state highways in your brain. That's good. I'm good with you. You can think what the hell what you want to think. How can Tuberville know what he's doing when he don't even know the three branches of government? Now and neither did a lot of people can get caught up in doing a gaffe. Okay, a lot of people can do that. Obama had his, Trump had his, Biden certainly had a bunch of his. Just because you make an offset statement of something, don't make you a dumbass. Okay, even as brilliant as I am, that I do make gaffes sometimes about things. Okay, so I'm just saying, stop whining about it. Okay, if you don't like the man, just say you don't like the man. Just say you don't like him, and then we can live with that. Okay, I think he knows the three branches of government since he is in one of them. Okay, okay, but I'll tell you about the highways tomorrow. Let me see now. Just put toll bridges. And I want you. We could just let the toll bridges. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I mean, my son's paying a toll every time he goes up the freeway in Colorado, and since that car is in my name, I keep getting the bill. Sure hope they don't take my license away or something one day, because I ain't going to Colorado though. At least not in the wintertime for sure. That's just too many hills up there. Anyway, enough of that. My time is just about up. That as usual. What did you call John? I wanted to call him something else, but I forgot I was in the public light for a second. So if anybody sees Jamel Brown, tell him stop being a chicken and come on a real show where you have to answer some real questions. Okay, okay, and even if you don't know the answers, like I don't know the answer to everything, I would I would give you praise for showing up, because there's no doubt in my mind, out of all the talk shows in Montgomery, Alabama, which there aren't too many, I'm the most knowledgeable one of all the past elections of the last 34 years, 35 years, I didn't talk to Democrats. I didn't talk to Republicans. I've been part of the what's that party we came up with a few years ago when Brudell first got here. I've made speeches out in front of people. I've been part of the landscape for a long time. So you can't just BS me, okay? Let me work on that fee thing too. Yeah, I'll see if the city can put up its own fee, and that we can bypass Reed, who I love. Reed's my man, but politically speaking, nah, we don't agree on this one. So my time's up. But we'll be talking about other things tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow Wednesday? Boy, the week's going by fast, isn't it? Yes, it is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I always say, it is not. Well, it is not the falling that hurts us. It's staying down rather than getting up. Because that is where the strength comes from. It's the getting up each and every time we fall. So remember that. Fall if you must, but don't stay down. Hey, I try to think some of this. Let's look on that. Let's take a look at that fee thing right here. I'll be checking on that today. Yeah, we ain't gonna call it a tax no more. We're gonna call it a fee, baby. Yeah, and bypass our legislative body. Oh yeah, I got that going on. I'm brilliant sometimes. Sometimes I just amaze myself. Anyway, have a great day.
Through valleys deep and mountains high, your faith a beacon in the sky. Every trial with lessons wrapped tight